It's time for the Douglas Coleman Show. Mr. Smooth and Savvy is joined by guests from all walks of life, from the entertainment industry to authors to political and social commentators, the famous and not so famous, the controversial and the light and fluffy. We have it all. Now, here's Douglas Coleman.
Okay, please welcome to the Douglas Coleman Show, Mohamed Karim. Hi, Mohamed. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Let's see. I just had Wes Miller on, I don't know, like a week ago. And
oh, cool.
He's your director, right, for A Day to Die? A really nice guy. We had a nice conversation, talked about the film. And so you're here. You're in the film. And what role do you play in the film?
I play Reynolds, and Reynolds is the detective, and he reports to his chief of police, who's Bruce Willis. So most of my my interaction and scenes with Alston, who's Bruce, and he basically he represents like the law and order. Like he implement law. He wants to do the right thing, follow the rule. And he doesn't care if it's gonna, sort of like backlash or anything like that. But he doesn't care as long as he's doing the right thing, and he wants everybody to follow the rules, sort of.
Okay, so Bruce is the chief of police, and you're a detective that works. Basically, he's your boss. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and then Frank Grillo and Kevin Dillon are the bad guys in the film.
I wouldn't say bad guys.
Or the other side. Yeah.
So Kevin, he's one of our police, and he get in trouble for I don't want to. It's gonna be like a spoiler for the film.
Oh, okay, all right.
Revealing so much about it. But like Kevin, he does something, and it just put him in trouble, and he has to get away with to do something about it, and he tried to reach out to some of his friends to help him out.
Okay.
Me on the other side, I'm the one who's making sure that, to see like everything is under control. That's why I confront Kevin, and I have to take his badge and, his gun and badge, and sort of like, let him stop from working. So, and this is what I usually do. I'm having some sort of internal struggle inside the unit, and also with the bad guy that side. That's why there's a lot of twists in the film and a lot of surprises in terms of my boss, for instance. What's going to happen every time I feel like there's something's off. Every time I have somebody under my custody, either he gets kidnapped or killed or disappeared. So I start, sort of worried about that and investigating about it, and talking my 30s, and until I started confronting my boss, who's Alston, in multiple really great master scenes, telling him what's going on, and this is how bold he is. He's he's brave. He doesn't care, as long as he knows he's doing the right thing. Nobody believed Reynolds, my character, about my gut feelings and my being worried about certain things, but he doesn't care. He followed his gut feeling until he proved his right, and he brought down the big boss, which is a big surprise. It's going to be a big spoiler if I say who he is, but I kind of like the character pretty much, playing, the good guy, playing, the guy that sort of at the end, he brings down the, whoever is the cause for all this chaos. So I think it's pretty cool, a pretty good role. And thanks to Wes, my director, who really puts it together really great. And I'm a producer for the opportunity, Andrew.
Oh, that's great. So what was it like working with Bruce Willis? I guess I have to ask that question.
Of course, it was fantastic. I mean, I had an amazing time. Such a legend. I grew up watching these films, Die Hard, and the fact that right now I get to be opposite him and like head to head and do all these great scenes, especially the action scenes. We locked down downtown Mississippi, and if you watch the film, you will see all these blowing up cars and explosions and shooting here and there, and we had a lot of rehearsals, me and Bruce, and I think that I had an amazing experience working with such a great legend, really down to earth, a great star.
I've heard that about him from some other people, that he's really easy to work with, and even though I think
fun too.
Yeah,
he's funny.
He comes with his whole crew, right? When but he has his own people. But I guess he's not pretentious about it, is what I've heard.
No, he's really down to earth. To be honest with you.
Did you do any of your own stunts, or did they have a stunt double for you?
I was 100% all in, man. I want to do all my stunts. I want to do all my scenes. I didn't want anybody to do any kind of stunt here and there. I did all my scenes, to be honest.
Oh, that's great.
And I really enjoyed it.
Okay, is the film out now?
Yeah, it's out. Selected theaters all over the country, and also streamings everywhere. People can watch it. And that's the cool thing, if you want to go to a theater, you can go. You want to watch it at home, you can. And I think nowadays this is how it works. I think COVID sort of like facilitated that and makes it, more for people to be able to watch, brand new movies. So I'm pretty excited for this feature. And the cool thing about it, it's not just like one of these straight up action movies. No, it has different messages in the film, and there's a really nice story in there. So it's not like a boom 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 and that's it. No, it's really cool story, and each one of the characters have their own message. My message, for instance, was like it doesn't matter what people can stop you from what you believe in or your goals or what your gut feeling is telling you. You have to pursue it, and that's exactly what Reynolds did. So I was after what I believe in that was wrong, that I had to fix that, and I think that's a strong message.
I want to ask you just a little bit about yourself. According to your bio, it says that you are Egyptian. And
I'm
originally from Egypt.
I was born and raised in Egypt, and then I came here. I took my senior year in high school, and then I got accepted to medical school in Egypt. So I went back from medical school and became a doctor, and been doing both since then. Working as a doctor and an actor.
Wow. Well, that's a full-time life. Yeah.
It is, but it's pretty exciting.
What kind of doctor?
I'm orthopedic, and I chose the specialty of my parents, which is mostly like obesity, weight reduction, all that kind of stuff. And I honestly enjoyed it pretty much.
Oh, fantastic!
I'm not saying it's easy. It was really hard, in order to do the thing that you're passionate about and the thing that you really love, which is acting.
Which one is taking more? Which one is taking more of your time now?
Oh, for sure, acting. For sure.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. I love acting, man. I think it's my world. This is what I'm really passionate about. This is what I'm focusing on. It took years in order for me to have to take like some sort of like a decision, which one shall take over, and I knew from day one that it's going to be acting, but I just had to, take my time and make sure that, I do my thing, especially that I had to build up my career and my acting skills and all that, and do all my films and TV and shows back there in Egypt. And then when I had sort of like a good resume, I was like, yeah, this is the right time to do my transition in Hollywood and do my dream, which is breaking through here. So that, it took me a while in order to reach what I wanted.
So you had been doing acting when you were in Egypt then, yeah? Were you in Egyptian films and TV?
That's where it all started.
Yeah. What was your first role in the United States?
My first role was Score to Settle, opposite Benjamin Berkley and Nicolas Cage. It was a great film, actually. That people can watch it now on Amazon, all streaming as well. And it's an action movie. I really enjoyed doing this movie as well.
How did you get that role? I mean, that seems like a pretty decent role for a first one.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. When you start acting, when you start seeing your work coming out, you have to know that there are years of of working out. Like working. I don't want to say like how hard it is to break through. I'm pretty sure but it sounds like the first thing that you worked in it was like a blockbuster or like an action film. That sounds really great, but I have to tell you, it wasn't an easy ride at all. I mean, I've been almost trying for like the past over 14 years, trying to do my thing. Over like, I don't know, God knows, like 2,000 editions.
Yeah.
Until you finally did what you wanted. Because I had like certain sort of like things that I wanted to do. I was trying as much as possible to stay away from like the stereotype sort of like roles that were out there for me. I was like wanted to do something sort of like cool, something relatable, something doesn't I'm that kind of guy who doesn't want to put myself into like sort of like a box or like stereotype, sort of like if you're from Egypt or the Middle East in general, you need to do these kind of roles. Or if you're like from Europe, you need to do this. Or if you're Hispanic or Mexican, you need to. So I'm kind of like, if you're good actor, good actor. If you doing your great job at an audition and you nailed it, should have a chance and get that. It doesn't have to depend on where you come from or originally from or like your looks or skin or whatever. But I think right now Hollywood sort of like started to open up a little bit for diversity, which is a great thing. Not what we really wish, but at least it's a good start.
Right. I mean, was the stereotype that they would give you would be like a terrorist or something like that?
Yeah. Like that.
Okay. Yeah, I can see why that would be real tiring, because it portrays a bad image, it just isn't.
It hurts. Yeah. It hurts your community as well.
Right.
And not just like the fact, even not from the Middle East in general, like if you're Mexican, why would you have to be like a drug dealer? And if you're like in Europe or something,
exactly,
you have to be like a mafia guy or something. You know what I mean? Like we have to change that, as much as possible.
I agree with you. I agree. I think that time has gone by.
Which I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did. In the past, my first two feature films, I think so far I'm doing great. Especially with my recent film, I Did It Die, the one that we're talking about right now. It's the fact that I'm doing, I'm playing the good guy here. So that's not like something usual here in Hollywood. Most of the time you get killed, or you're like you're the bad guy or something. But the fact that I'm bringing down the bad guys, I think that's second big win for me, and the first big win would be it's not a stereotype role. So
well,
I'm really,
I think
really happy with that.
Yeah, I think that's great. I want to quickly ask you about this, and then we got to kind of wind this down. It says that you've teamed up with internationally recognized horror label Dark Castle.
Yeah.
So you're doing. Tell me about that.
I'm doing a thriller film. I'm doing Untitled thriller film, horror feature film. I'm pretty excited for this collab. We're in development stage right now. It's not usual that sometimes you get to make your own project, because this is my story, and I think I'm lucky to be able to do that. It's the fact that you every day you're doing your thing. If it's like movies, series, whatever. But sometimes throughout the year, you have that kind of dream project that you work on, you believe in. So that was like this is mine. Like for years I've been like, every time when I get some time, I start writing some notes here and there, synopsis here and there, until it was like the right time, to meet with the right people, and they got really interested in my story, and hopefully we're into development right now, and they're writing the script, so hopefully we'll get into production soon. I'm really excited about this, especially that I'm bringing some of related sort of like story that kind of like where I originally come from, like culture-wise. Like, it's an Egyptologist, and it takes place here in Egypt. So I get to shoot a lot of scenes in Egypt and pyramids and all that, and which is going to be like the real deal and the real sort of locations. Because, like all the feature films that we're watching, I think 99%, if it's not 100%, it's not like the real location. Like, every time you see like pyramids or the Nile or the monuments or like Luxor, Aswan, and all these beautiful places, they're not real, or they're like shooting it somewhere else, that it's not Egypt. So I'm really happy that I'm bringing this to the audience. And so far, these kind of movies, sort of really did really well in cinemas. But the only thing is they're like just a handful of films. So I'm pretty excited to put it and bring it back for the audience.
So you said this is in development right now, so it's probably going to be, what, a year or two before the film, you think?
No, hopefully before. Hopefully before, within a year, probably.
Oh, within a year? Okay. All right, great. Mohamed, we got to wrap this up. We are out of time. Do you have a website you want to give out, a personal one or one for the movie or anything?
Yeah, I have. You can reach anybody can reach me at my Instagram as well, which is MK_Mohamed Karim, which is MOHAMEDKARIM, as well as my Facebook, Mo Karim Official, or my Twitter, which is Mo Karim Star. I always there for my fans, and I always reply back.
Okay, super. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for taking the time. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right,
I
best
really
of luck.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
You're listening to Mr. Smooth and Savvy right here on the Douglas Coleman Show. We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Douglas Coleman's Don't Do a Podcast is a dryly humorous rant about Douglas's pet peeve, the unrelenting torrent of podcasts hitting the web on a constant basis. As technology has put podcasting within the reach of anyone, many wholly unqualified people have taken the plunge. This witty polemic tries to persuade them from broadcasting their drivel using Douglas's brand of sarcastic humor. Now on Amazon, only 99 cents.
DJC Music and DJC Productions are pleased to announce a brand new website. We have started a listing website for radio show hosts as well as potential show guests. This is a meeting site where hosts and guests can come together. Show hosts can list their show and types of guests they're interested in booking. Potential guests can list their talents, bio, accomplishments, or anything they feel makes them an interesting radio show guest. There are no recurrent payments, only a one-time $5 listing fee. Your listing will stay up until you decide to cancel. Previous guests of The Douglas Coleman Show are welcome to submit their guest listing free of charge. Go to radiohostsandguests.com. That's radiohostsandguests.com.
Hi, this is John Morgan, production supervisor for DJC Productions, and you're listening to The Douglas Coleman Show.
Okay. Hi, Benjamin. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it. So, according to your bio, you are a successful attorney. Are you still practicing law?
I was until this past December. I finally decided after 40-plus years it's time to do something else and perhaps to spend more time in writing.
Okay, so you've retired from that, and now you've dedicated yourself to being an author?
I would like to think so, yes.
Okay. I know you've got several books. The one we're going to be talking about today is called The Selfish Giant. How many books have you written in total, though?
Well, this is my third novel, and prior to that, I wrote 4 self-help books.
Self-help books, okay. Specifically on what topics? So just cover those real quick.
Sure. Well, being an attorney, I specialized in estate planning, Social Security disability appeals. So self-help books for the consumer to help them win their Social Security case, understand estate planning, someone, God forbid, passes on, how you are to be in charge of your estate.
And your latest...
But then I got the bug to decide to write fiction, and that's where we are today.
Okay, so your latest book, The Selfish Giant, is a fiction?
It's fiction, though based on characters that have crossed my life during my time of practicing law.
Were these clients that you represented?
Well, I would say that I've taken some of the worst and the best from some of my 40-plus years of representing clients. So it's a mix. I can't say it's on one particular client or one particular incident, but incidents that have happened that I can relate to having represented these clients.
All right. We don't like to give too much away on this show. We just like to give people kind of a trailer, like a movie trailer of the book, because
sure,
after all, we do want people to go out and buy it. So can you give us just a synopsis, maybe like a 1-minute synopsis or so of the book?
Well, the main character, his name is Jacob, and he is what you think of as a shark, one of those attorneys that bulldozes everyone. His clients, his partner. He has a dysfunctional relationship with his wife, his daughter. And one day he encounters the angel of death. And it's not time for him yet, so he decides that he needs to redeem himself. And it's his path of redemption that crosses many, many different roads, up to the point where he now needs a heart transplant, and there's one more last event he needs to do. It's a question whether he makes it or not.
Oh, okay. This sounds actually like a Twilight Zone episode.
Well, Twilight Zone, because we don't know where it's going and where it's going to end. So the ending is a surprise.
Why did you decide to start writing?
You know, from the time I was a little boy, I used to love to watch the law shows, the Perry Masons, shows like that. And I always felt I had my inner voice. And when you're representing clients every day, it can become a grind. It was my need to express myself. And I jog every morning, and I find when I jog, thoughts come into my mind. And I would rush home to write them down, make an outline. And one day I decided, wait a minute, there's a lot here. Maybe I can put this into some type of organization and make a story out of it. And that's where the first book came to be.
All right. So you did mention before that you had written some self-help books. Did that also come out? I suspect everything that you wrote came from your experience as an attorney, yeah? In one way.
Absolutely. The self-help books are filled with actual stories from clients. As you can imagine, when someone passes away, many times a surviving family member doesn't know where to turn, what to do first. And I gave a lot of insight as to having a plan in place, not to be overwhelmed, not let emotions overtake you. And those were the books that talked about estate planning. And my first book was My Wishes, How to Plan for the Inevitable. And like I said, when I transitioned, I again used client experiences to write my my novels.
What's one of the misconceptions that people have? I'm thinking that people who have elderly parents automatically assume that the money is going to the children. Is that, do you run into that?
The big misconception is that people think that it's going to go to the children without other people putting out their hands. And when I say that, you have the court, you have attorneys, you have an administrative process whereby you just can't leave a house to someone and expect the next day that house to transfer title. You have to go through probate, and it's very, very expensive. So my books talked about having the right documents like trust and wills in place so that when someone does pass on, it's an easier transition.
So if there's no will, it automatically goes to probate?
If there's no will and the estate value is over a certain amount, depending on which state you live in, it would go through probate first. I just had a call the other day, because I still take some calls, where someone died, house is worth $500,000, and they want to leave it to someone's sister, and it's not a simple matter of that. It's going to cost them about $25,000 in probate fees to get that title transferred.
Oh, I see. Do you have to pay that up front, or will they take it out of the sale?
They take it out of the sale.
Oh, all right. What made you want to, let's go way back here. What made you want to be an attorney?
You know, I can think about the time I was 4 or 5 years old, and we had a family friend who was an attorney, and I was so impressed with his stories. I was so impressed with what he did, and he seemed so happy what he was doing, that he was fulfilling and helping people. And, you know, he was like my mentor. And throughout my high school, college career, I always would ask him questions. And then when it was time to apply to law school, you know, I looked to him for guidance. And, well, here we are. So I would say that was a very, very strong motivating force in my life.
Do you have any particular cases? Was everything you were doing probate and wills? So you weren't a courtroom lawyer, right?
I was a courtroom lawyer early on in my career, but if you were to poll most attorneys, they will say that, you know, being a courtroom attorney sounds glamorous and exciting, but it's not really very time efficient. And if you're representing other clients and you're held up in court, you know, you just can't split your body 2, 3, 4 ways. So unless you have a big firm, it's not very helpful for your own practice to do that. So most attorneys shy away from courtroom activities.
Let me go back to this selfish giant here for a second. So was this somebody you knew, or was this yourself?
No, it's definitely not myself, because if it was myself, my wife would divorce me. He's a terrible, terrible character. But it is based on 2 people that I do know, that I use their personalities, their characteristics to shape the lead character.
Okay, do they know that?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so you've changed the names. Would you tell them?
Never.
Are these people friends of yours currently?
As of now, they won't be if this interview was heard by them.
Okay, all right. Well, it's interesting, though, because do you think that people sometimes when they go down that road, that the only thing that shocks them into reality is a near-death experience?
Oh, I think so. I mean, you know, I equate that with skiing. I used to love to snow ski. And, you know, at one time in my life, I had no problem facing a double diamond ski road. And, you know, as you get older, you're no longer invincible. And I think, you know, when someone is facing death or a life challenge, all of a sudden they review their lives to see where they are. And, you know, you reach a point where you're saying it's not all about the money. It's not all about the fame. It's not all about the power. There's other things more important in your life. And that's what the book touches on.
So what is it then if it's not money and power and fame?
Well, I want to say happiness. And in our world today with what's going on, current events, you know, we're all searching for happiness, which is a hard thing to grasp today. Wouldn't it really be nice if we lived in that type of utopia where everyone is happy? So if we don't want to use the word happy, how about let's say complacent? Let's say that we want to be complacent so that life is not a daily challenge, that we can get through life and, you know, turn the page tomorrow, wake up, put a smile on your face and say, okay, I made it another day. Now what can I do with that today?
Well, I think happiness can be different for different people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it depends on, you know, how you define happiness. Sometimes a person can become happy because they met their challenge, they won a bet, they won the courtroom verdict, versus happiness is being able to get out of your bed and, you know, have your morning breakfast and take a walk in your backyard. You know, it's all different as far as your point of view.
Well, exactly. Do you think Jeff Bezos is happy?
That's an interesting question because, you know, how can you have so much money that you'd never be able to spend it? I think happiness often gets colored by having too much money. and too much power. I mean, you see people who are in reality shows. In fact, I know someone in a reality show where they were happy until the cameras interfered with their happiness. The cameras were never shut down, and that person ended in a divorce, custody battles, things like that. Knowing this person 10 years earlier, before there were cameras in his lifetime, I would say he's happy. Today, that's the last thing he can think of is happiness.
I think of somebody like Jeff Bezos, who, if maybe he is happy, I think at the very least he's bored, because he's sort of won the game. I mean, what else can he do at this point? There's nothing he can't buy. There's nothing he can't do. Anything, his slightest little whim could become true. So, what's the challenge in life for somebody like that?
Yeah, well, I would sure hope that he can make other people happy if he cannot create happiness for himself by being a charitable person, giving person. I guess maybe he can transfer happiness if he cannot himself be happy. And that applies to the Elon Musk of the world. I mean, it's interesting. Here we are in 2022, and we have a new revolution compared to the Industrial Revolution, where there were so many wealthy people. We have the same thing now, only different last names. But were these people happy then? No. Are they people happy today? No. But they can sure do a lot to make other people happy.
Well, that's true, and some of them did. I know that Andrew Carnegie was very generous with his money and did a lot for charities. Bill Gates, I guess he does some, but Elon Musk wants to take us all to Mars. I think that's
right.
His, that's his happiness, is to leave the planet. We'll see. All right. Well, Ben, we got to wind this down. Again, my guest is Benjamin Berkley. His latest book is called The Selfish Giant. Do you have a website you want to give out?
Sure, I'd be happy to, Douglas. It's benberkley.com. You can go to my website and see all the other books I've written, and gives you details where you can order the book. And likewise, The Selfish Giant is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, and best of luck with the book. I hope it does well.
Thank you very much, Douglas. Appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity.